Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on another one of our awareness sessions at Nirvana. And today we're talking about an important topic, which is everything related to blood donation. The shortage of blood products has been a major public health problem in India. It is estimated that nearly 12,000 people lose their lives every single day due to the lack of blood products. And as of 2020, only 63 districts in India do not have a blood center. And unfortunately, India has one of the largest shortages of blood supply globally, while several diseases requiring blood transfusions are on the rise. A recent study by Dr. Joy Maman et al. Estimated the shortage to be around 2.5 donations per thousand eligible donors, which equals a shortage of 10 lakh units. Blood products are required not only for surgeries, but also for patients suffering from various medical conditions causing severe anemia. So, to create more awareness and increase and encourage people to start donating blood, we have two very important people with us today who are going to bust all myths related to blood donation and answer all of your questions. We have Dr. Joy Maman, who is the Associate Director of CMC Vellore and also the Professor of Pathology who's working the Department of Transfusion Medicine. Welcome, sir. Thank you for being with us today. We also have Dr. John, who has completed his post graduation recently from JIPMER and is working with Dr. Joy at CMC Vellore. Thank you, Dr. Joy and Dr. John, for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Divya.
I think we'll directly move on to some of the myths that we have heard, which are very common. First, the thing is, if I want to donate blood, Dr. John, this is something I wanted to ask you. So I am currently in Delhi, and if I want to donate blood, where should I go?
Yes. So if you want to donate blood, you can actually, you can walk into a hospital. So most of the hospitals in many of the districts, they have a blood storage center or they have a blood bank there. So you can walk into a hospital, you can directly walk inside the blood bank. So you go to the hospital and ask them where's the blood bank, and you can very well go to the blood bank and donate blood. Another thing is something called the camps. So a lot of camps will be being conducted by a lot of by hospitals, one thing, by institutions, by organizations, by NGOs. And currently, like, we have close to like many NGOs such as like Lions Club, Rotary Club, Friends to Support, and yes, so many of these NGOs, also Indian Red Cross, they are actively involved in the blood donation aspect of it. And for each and every region, so for example, like metropolitan cities, Chennai, Pondicherry, Delhi, so each and every city at a region wise, this thing, they'll also have certain organizations who are focusing on blood camps and blood donations. And especially like political parties, they'll also be organizing a lot of blood camps, especially when it comes to political leader birthdays, and also for remembrance of important dates. So blood camps are one of the most important sources of voluntary blood donors, as well as blood banks. Also, there is a website called eRaktKosh. eRaktKosh is something of a centralized website which is run by National Health Mission, and there you can go there. I'll put a link to this as well. You can go there as well, and you can like find out, okay, which are the blood banks and hospitals which are present in your particular area, and you can walk up there. And also camps are also being registered there. It's not like extremely active as of now. It's a work in progress by the government of India to centralize the whole blood donation aspect of it, because we are losing out on donors. So that's one way. There's another way we can actually go and find out where the camps are being held, find out the district hospitals, find out the storage centers, blood banks, and private hospitals, government hospitals, and you can actually very well you can search there. You can go there and you can search as to like which district you want, and among the district, which state, which district. So to that level, you can actually go ahead and you can find out where to find the blood bank in that particular district or state. I'll put a link to this as well. You can.
I've
Yes.
added the link in the chat box. That's actually very useful information, considering most of us are coming from different parts of the country. You can go to this website, like Dr. John said, and you can search for your district, your area, which is the closest blood bank where you can go and donate blood. And that's something, another barrier which I've commonly heard from my friends and even I have faced is, the needle seems like it's very thick. So does it hurt a lot when we donate blood?
It's just a small pinch. That's all it is. Like it's actually as much as like a TT injection or any other injection. It looks a little thick, but it's a one-time prick. I won't tell that it's painless. Certain blood centers now they are taking active steps into like to reduce this small pinch and small discomfort. They apply a local anesthesia over the spot. They wait for a minute to dry up and then they go ahead with the pricking aspect. It's actually a very small dull aching pain, and we'll make sure the technicians, the staff, the doctors and the sisters, they're all like extremely well trained to make sure it is a very pleasant experience. They're all very well trained over many years, and and it's a small prick. It's as much as a hand prick. That's how we convince our children to get a shot. So it's only that much, and it's a very dull pain. That's all it is, and it will subside after the donation within a short amount of time. I'm talking about like it's a pain is a threshold. It's a very subjective feeling, so it's different for different people. Yeah. So what is extremely painful for me, if I feel like it's painful and you think it's painful for you, and you go ahead with the blood donation and you feel like, okay, you didn't feel any pain at all. It was actually a much pleasant experience, because the whole joy of like giving blood, through that needle, it actually kicks off many people. Actually, they actually feel happy, getting that prick. So it's an enjoyable experience altogether, except then a very small dull pain. But yeah, that's tolerable, like looking at our experiences. I have donated blood close to 9 times. I also donated single donor platelet. So that's basically, the needle will be there in your arm for close to an hour or an hour and a half. But the thing is, once the blood donation process gets over, you can actually very well walk out happily, just like, no, till the cotton is there, you'll be like, okay, yeah, I feel a little bit of pain, but then the cotton is out into the dustbin and you're feeling all right. So yeah, it doesn't hurt. It hurts if you think it hurts.
Can I just add a couple of comments to that?
Yes, sir.
Just to add to the first question of where you can donate. So I think that link is going to be helpful, but as you'll see that in some cities, you'll think that there are no blood centers. But I think if you search around on social media, either Facebook or on Twitter, you'll be able to find the local blood center. One thing I would strongly suggest is that blood donation is usually a very localized event. To try to find a place, a localized activity. It's not that you'll have to travel, except in few exceptional situations where you might have to travel long distances. It becomes easier if you identify a local blood center, an organization that you can work with, Red Cross, Lions, there are many such organizations, and sign up and remain constant over there. The challenge in India often is to get constant repeat voluntary blood donors. So if the blood center is assured of a group of people who are committed, who say that I'll come every 6 months or every 4 months and donate. The frequency can be based on your own health, iron status, and all those conveniences also. But it's good to be local, identify some place that you want to donate, maybe the government blood center, because that's where there is often a demand which sometimes is not met easily. So that's my only suggestion for that, and everything else that John said, and thanks for sharing that link on the system. We're hoping that in the days to come, these links will become, there'll be more data populated on that link, and you'll be able to see camps as they happen as well. The second part to that is, if you're keen on it, you can organize these kind of donor camps in liaison with the local blood center. That's the next step, that if you want to do, either you're not able to donate or you're interested enough at your workplace, there are 15, 20, 30 people who want to become donors, then what you should do is link up with this blood center and tell them that you have a group of people who are willing to donate. it's a gradual process. When 5 or 10 people donate, then it's an instance for other people to notice that activity and become curious and either want to donate or bring somebody else to donate. And then it becomes convenient activity for you. So it's easiest when it's most convenient, when you don't have to go to a blood center, you don't have to abide by other people's timings. And usually blood centers are amenable to organizing these kind of blood donor drives or blood donation camps at locations. There are some criteria that you need to follow. It should be a clean environment, well lit, well ventilated. But I'm sure many of the modern day offices and organizations can dedicate some space for some part of the day for organizing these kind of camps. So that's for
Another
the first question. Yeah.
For you, Dr. Joy, is
Yes.
a lot of people ask me whether it is safe to donate blood and if people can get infections as serious as HIV through blood donation.
So a long time ago, when we started off with blood donations, started off, when we were about 25, 30 years ago, we used to have reusable needles and syringes. Needles used to be sterilized, autoclaved, and then brought back to use again. So at that time, there was a certain quantum of risk if people were not careful, if they did not wash, clean, and sterilize the needles properly. This was the time that HIV was coming in, maybe like late 80s, early 90s was the era when this was a worry. And people used to voice it. When people became aware of HIV and hepatitis B, they used to voice this concern. Very quickly, we moved from quite quickly early in those days from reusable syringes and needles to disposable needles. I think at the first step, it was disposable needles and subsequently they're disposable syringes. Nowadays, what happens is that every unit, every bag that is used is a disposable bag, the blood bag, the bag into which we collect. And they come with integrated needles built into the bags itself, connected up right into the bag. So every kit comes with its own brand new sterile needle. And only when we open it in front of the donor, we are actually using it for the first time. And after we finish using it, those needles are destroyed and disposed of in a way that is appropriate for that particular sharps needle. So therefore, the risk of contracting an infection through the needle is practically zero. It's really not a reality today in today's modern life. The other comment I want to make about the needle also relates to the pain factor, is that needle looks so big because we want to finish the actual collection of blood in less than 10 minutes. So the bore of the needle, if it's wider, it finishes the collection faster and it assures the quality of blood because we want the blood to reach the anticoagulant and finish the mixing in less than about 5 to 8 minutes. If you have a narrower needle, it's going to take longer. Might be a little less painful for that while, but it's going to take a lot longer time. And with today's technology, it's actually the technology of making that needle, and there is science which goes into the bevel edge, and all those things have been addressed. So it's much better than what it was maybe 5 or 10 years ago also. And some of them add certain kinds of lubricant to the surface so that it's actually coated and it's very good. So that experience has changed over the years. Really. It's much better now than before.